Welcome back to FlashPOINT. Pretty soon, Charlotte companies won't be allowed to discriminate against members of the LGBTQ community. This week, the mayor announcing the city plans to expand its non-discrimination ordinance in August. For the first time, it appears it will have conservative support on council. This week, I sat down with Republican Councilman Tark Bakari and a local gay Republican who are throwing their support behind the idea.
You know, it was several months ago that I realized the non-discrimination ordinance topic was going to kind of come back into play. And I was just tired of being caught flat-footed and not being invited to the table as a Republican in town. And I saw it as an opportunity for us to explore and use our conservative principles to see if we could be on the cutting edge of something in a top 20 size city. So I immediately knew, you know, this was going to be more than just a simple task of branding. It was really going to be an exercise. And I reached out to Kyle, who is on the board of our Young Republicans, also in the LGBT community, as well as a couple of our other really kind of forward-thinking, sharp young Republicans. And I asked them to come together with a real simple topic and task, which is use our conservative principles to see how we might be able to proactively take a position. And they worked really hard, lawyers, all kinds of different professionals, you know, compile in this group. And as we had some debates and discussions, it became clear the principle of freedom, of individual liberty, really was the crux of this issue. That, you know, much like many others in the Republican Party's history, we have a tradition of fighting for. We have a tradition of fighting for equal rights. And, you know, the 1964 Civil Rights Act would not have occurred without the support of Republicans. So we use those principles of individual liberty, of freedom, to really come into the nuts and bolts of the non-discrimination ordinance. And in doing so, we have created our draft proposal, which, in my opinion, is the most forward-thinking and aggressive non-discrimination ordinance, yet principled and reasonable in Charlotte's history.
Let's be honest. Your party has not been very responsive to issues of gay rights in the past.
If you talk about my party as a combination of human beings, I would say there's a lot of human beings that, you know, aren't people that we necessarily want to be associated with, and many others that we do. But when you talk about my party as it relates to what we actually stand for, our principles, that's the one unique thing that has made us throughout our nation's history really be the freedom fighters for many causes that we don't always get a lot of credit for in 2021. So sure, I'll concede that I'm not always the most proud of every single statement that millions of different Republicans across the country and world make. But at the end of the day, we are each our own individuals, and we came together to do something that is the first of its kind. And we are super proud to be on the front end of this.
Kyle, how do you fit into all of this? A gay Republican here in Charlotte. What was your role with this?
So as Tark said, he asked myself and a couple other young Republicans to kind of come up with what we viewed as the non-discrimination ordinance that would comport with our principles. So, you know, that's what we started at. So I'm a conservative. I am, you know, heavily involved in the Republican Party here in Charlotte, but I'm also heavily involved in the LGBTQ community here in Charlotte. I'm on the board of one of the large LGBTQ nonprofits here. And, you know, I value and I believe deeply in the equality for LGBTQ people. And that is not only for gay men like me, but it's also for trans individuals, for queer individuals, for bi individuals, for lesbians as well. So
you think that also comports with your conservative values?
Yes, absolutely. You know, I should be able, coming back to non-discrimination ordinance, I should be able to walk into a restaurant tomorrow and not be turned away because I am gay. It is not the restaurant's business whether or not I am a gay man. And if they do turn me away for being gay, that is an infringement upon my individual liberty to live how I would like to live in the city of Charlotte and in the state of North Carolina.
Do you wish that your party would have been adopting some of these principles, say 5 years ago when this first was taken up?
I think that parties change and perspectives change, and it is through individuals who have gone before me in the Republican Party who have been LGBTQ that have talked to people to cause individuals to change. And so, 30 years ago, no party was amenable to our issues. It was through the hard work of LGBTQ activists that the Democratic Party came on board a lot of our issues. But even then, in many ways, they're still not. So, for example, we've been waiting for 6 months for a non-discrimination ordinance to be put forward in the city of Charlotte that is 9-2 Democratic. And, they have had the chance to do it. It is a constant, I think, fight among any political organization to push our issues forward in the most respectful and positive way.
And you all believe that your proposal even goes further than the Democrats. Why do you feel that way?
We're incorporating not only public accommodation, which is the standard. We're also incorporating employment as well as housing. So if I want to go and rent an apartment here in Charlotte, I should not be denied because I am a gay person. Or if a trans person wants to go and rent an apartment, they should not be denied because they are trans. And so we're going above and beyond kind of just the typical public accommodations by allowing for housing, public accommodations, and employment.
Our conversation continues on the